How does this guy go from being fired to building a $200,000 a month hospitality business?
The whole idea here was to create a dream-like escape.
And the craziest part is he went from broke and in debt to over 200 properties.
Particularly with the banks, the lenders, I probably got 20 no's before I got a yes.
Watch as he reveals how to build a business that can scale effortlessly.
We were doing $500 to $600 average nightly rates out the gate.
Wild.
Our occupancies were in the mid 80s to high 80s.
Uncover the marketing trick that generated so much interest that it crashed their booking site.
One post, it's gonna crack 1 million views. You know, first post, we had no followers. Now we have like 16, 17,000 basically overnight.
And at last, unlock the mindset to unleash your true entrepreneurial potential.
The big shift though came a few months after we opened when we really started leaning into.
All right, Ben, I'm excited to get into this interview. Before we dive into all the amazing questions about the hospitality empire that you've built, tell us a little bit about this incredible property. How many units does it have and what is it all about? Because I feel like I'm in Tanzania, but I'm in Texas.
Yeah, so we are at Onera, which is a treehouse hotel brand with soon to be 2 locations in the Texas Hill Country.
Nice.
Could also be thought of as an experiential landscape resort. We have safari tents, container homes, tree houses, yurts. I mean, you name it, we have it. The whole idea here was to create a dream-like escape for our guests to kind of escape the hustle and bustle of daily life. And Onera actually means dream in Greek.
This is a very unique house.
Yes, this is Sage Safari. It's a double peak tent. It's one of our more spacious
cool.
units. It's actually a 2-bedroom. It's got all this metal glass facade in the front, so you can feast your eyes on this beautiful view, but you still have the tent feel with the roof.
That's so cool. Did you have any real estate background, any hospitality background before you started essentially building a hospitality empire as it is today?
Yeah, so I like to think my hospitality background really started with like party promotions in college, and then I did a little bit of nightclub promoting in New York City. So that was kind of my first taste of showing people a good time and sort of curating an experience. So after that, I started dabbling in real estate. I found some well-priced apartments in New York City, started subletting those, and then caught the Airbnb bug. I worked for another short-term rental management company, and then ended up starting my own. So I was doing software sales at the time, and we had a couple properties that, you know, my company was managing, and I had friends that wanted to get into the Airbnb game as well. So when I knew I had these clients we could bring on board, I quit my software sales job and started building that company full time.
Wow.
And we went from 8 units to 200 under management in about 18 months.
That's crazy.
So it grew really rapidly across, 10 or 12 markets in the US, and then COVID hit.
Hospitality got hit really hard.
Yeah.
All right, well, let's go back a little bit. So you have education. What's your degree in? Just curious.
Yeah, so I got a degree in undergraduate business, went to NYU,
That helps.
studied at the Stern School,
Yeah.
for sure, had a minor in entrepreneurship, was kind of always interested in entrepreneurship since late high school, early college.
What about like upbringing as a child, family? Like, did you come from an entrepreneurial background, father, mother?
My dad was in business and did very well for himself in business. I had some interest in architecture when I was young, and kind of that I think maybe bled into real estate and kind of what I do now with the unique experiential stays. But seeing my dad and our lives change when I was in high school, he was an executive at a lighting distributor, and they got acquired by a big company, and our whole lifestyle and life changed, and that I think really turned me on to business and kind of the opportunity there.
What inspired you to build spaces with this type of aesthetic and vibe? Because it's absolutely unique.
Me and my wife had just went on this 6-week road trip all around the southwestern US. So we did this RV trip for our honeymoon. We hit like a dozen national parks, and we get to wake up in the most incredible spaces. Seeing these sunrises and sunsets was incredible. The challenges of RV life were less fun, right? Dealing with mobile mechanics. We had one time that like the latch on our exterior compartment broke and our stuff was littered on the highway. We had to drive 4 hours at like 15 miles an hour to get to the closest dealership to get something fixed. So
the adventure.
Yeah, those things, I mean, they make for a good story, but in the time, they really pulled us out of those moments of perfection in nature. And so with Onera, we wanted inspiring stays, like the unit as well as the landscape, but we also wanted to provide all the comforts of home and then some. So you have this frictionless experience in nature, and you can experience these moments of perfection without being interrupted by DPF filters breaking or compartments, latches breaking off and things like that.
Before we dive in, here's a quick question for you guys watching at home. How big of a role does luck play in the success of a business? Do you think it's all about planning and executing a strategy, or how much does faith and chance have anything to do with the success of a business? Comment below on your thoughts. Let's go check out the elevated deck. It's an amazing location. Continue the conversation there. So this is a fully enclosed pool area. I like how you did this naturally.
The cedar fences and the raw cedar fences was a great way to help them just kind of blend into the natural environment.
For sure. We got just a restroom and a sauna
restroom,
in there.
Barrel sauna, which
That's
people
so
love,
cool.
very Instagrammable. And then back this way, we love this little enchanted walkway. Feels like you're walking in the trees. You have the string lights above, really set the vibe. And then once you get to these age-old oak trees, we have a swinging chair, a little seating area, and then this really awesome circular hammock.
Just like a...
yeah, you could dive in.
Pause the interview for a second, ladies and gentlemen. I'm gonna take
let Paul take his R&R.
Little USA. Okay, back to it. 11 units across this whole compound, I would say, right? Every unit's unique, so let's talk numbers. Give us a breakdown on numbers, profits. What can you highlight for us?
Yeah, so it is totally different depending on the unit. Our rates also fluctuate quite a bit within a single unit. We have a very dynamic pricing system. We have a very sophisticated revenue management team. So like for Monarch, our highest end unit, it could be anywhere from $300 a night midweek low season to $1,200, $1,500 a night.
That much of a spread?
Yes, weekend, high demand, peak season. The mid-tier units, I would say fluctuate, $250 to $1,000 a night still. And then some of our more economical units, you might be able to get for a couple $100, a certain number of nights a year, and upwards of $350, $400 on the higher demand times.
Here in Texas, what are the busiest high season?
The best weather, March, April, October, November, December is pretty big. Honestly, the whole year is pretty good. Outside of January is pretty slow because we get very sporadic weather in Texas. You could have like very freezing cold temperatures, or you could have a beautiful day.
So in operation almost 3 years. When you finished the build out though, back then, and you started booking, did you start to see success right away? When did you know that you were like really onto something?
Yeah, so it was pretty much out the gate. I mean, as soon as we listed on Airbnb, we were booking at quite high rates, and we had to start kind of pushing the limits of rates we thought we could get. I mean, that's part of our pricing strategy, right? To see kind of the height of the market of what we can hit.
How far you can go.
Yeah, so we were doing $500 to $600 average nightly rates out the gate.
Wild.
Our occupancies were in the mid 80s to high 80s. The big shift though came a few months after we opened, when we really started leaning into Instagram, social media, and started booking direct. And then we had an influencer that reached out to us on Airbnb and said they wanted to showcase the property. And she still works with us today. She's incredible. I think she's the best travel influencer in Texas. The handle is Texas Explorer. And
her name is?
Amanda.
Okay.
Yeah, she's fantastic. And she drives crazy engagement on her videos and also bookings.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, when the first collab that she came out and did with us generated about $10,000 to $15,000 in bookings, and then she came a month later and rinse, repeat, same result. So that really turned me on to Instagram and the power of social media. Yeah, we started working with a bunch of influencers that year. I was kind of managing it myself. And then in year 2, we were like, need to take this to the next level. Tried to hire some agencies that kind of fell flat. Ended up building an agency in-house. So
just because you couldn't find the ones that actually delivered
to deliver. Exactly. And we needed more specialization than just me, and I didn't have the bandwidth. So Oasi is my other company, which is the services company that supports all of these unique stays. We do hotel management, which includes revenue management, guest communications, design and development, and then social media and marketing is one of our biggest verticals.
So with virtually no money, no construction experience in day zero, how did you pull off raising funds for a project with such high startup costs?
Yeah, I mean, look, get used to hearing no and be perseverant, I think is a big one, particularly with the banks, the lenders. I probably got 20 no's before I got a yes. And I knew I just needed one loan officer that believed in me and the concept and could see the vision, and that would go to bat for us in loan committee. And that's what we found with Sonora Bank, who financed this first property. On the equity side, it actually wasn't that hard because I had a track record with clients in my short-term rental management business. So I had made them some money already. So when I called them and was like, hey, you want to put 50, 100, 200 grand into this project equity, they loved the concept and they believed in and trusted me as an operator. So it wasn't actually as hard to raise the equity as you might think. Let's go check out one of our most Insta-famous units, the Spyglass.
Spyglass. Yeah. Who comes up with the names, by the way?
It's very collaborative. I mean, we definitely try to have a collaborative environment, but Spyglass is a little bit of an outlier because the architect already had the name.
I see.
But everything else is more nature focused. So like Monarch is, butterfly, cocoon, right? Pre-butterfly. Then we have Lantana Dome, which is Lantana's a plant here. So plants and animals particularly are the names here.
All right, so to go from like 8 properties to 200 properties in a matter of 18 months, I can't imagine you doing that on your own and doing it successfully. So talk to us about your partner, Jesse. How did you guys meet and ended up working together essentially?
Yeah, so that was actually my prior business, not the current one. So the short-term rental management company that I described before, which kind of got me into this space. And that company I actually did with another partner, John Cole, that I originally raised money for Onera for, and we've worked together in that sense. Jesse, I actually used to work for Jesse, and he's now my co-founder in Oasi, which is the social media marketing, revenue management, property management, and design and development shop for all these unique stays.
Gotcha.
So I work with Jesse now on that front, and bringing him in as a co-founder and partner in that business is like the best kind of hire I've ever made. Probably also the most expensive, but he manages like full verticals, will stand up full teams. Like we've created a whole new business line because of him. So looking for a person there that's like 100,000x type employee and really partner.
And you said he fired you at one point?
He fired me, yeah. So
now you guys work together.
Yeah, it's crazy, right? I mean, I needed to get fired, so I was kind of partying a little too hard. I was bottoming out, and that was the kick in the butt that I needed to get sober. And yeah, it's been 9 years, and I wouldn't have anything that I have in my life today if it wasn't for that.
I want to ask you about like your sobriety journey, right? How has that influenced your abilities, your philosophies as an entrepreneur in general?
Just because I get knocked down doesn't mean it's over, that's right? And I have this philosophy around entrepreneurship that like, what's the worst that's going to happen? And typically the worst that's going to happen for me is like, okay, I fall on my butt and I have to go get a job, right? That's kind of worst case scenario. And like I've done that before. I believe in my ability to do that. And being sober now for 9 years, I feel like it's a bonus, right? I get a second chance on life, so got to go for it.
Blitz time with Ben. Ben, you ready?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, is there a luxury destination or resort that you've been dying to visit?
Yeah, I still haven't made it to Post Ranch Inn in Big Sur, right on the California coastline, just incredible tree houses and glass homes and just amazing stays.
Check that out. What's the strangest request a guest has made while staying at your property?
Not really a request, but like complaint we get is when people complain about the nature when they're trying to go to nature. like bugs and things like that. I mean, there's nothing we can do about it outside of the unit. So
what's one personal habit that has paid dividends in your professional life?
Getting up early.
If Onera could do a collaboration with any brand, who would you like to work with?
Well, we're working on this one right now with Oud, the mirror home manufacturer, and it's a mirror sauna. I think it's a great collab.
The year is 2050, and you're building the first luxury glamping experience on the moon. What does it look like, and what are some of the amenities?
Wow, I don't know enough about space, man. We need some sort of water features. We need dope views, and we need inspiring units. I mean, I know.
That works.
So,
what does the next 5-10 years look like in the luxury rental market? How do you prepare for those market shifts?
Guests and travelers are willing to spend more on the place they stay, and they want more experiences brought to them. So I think things are going to continue to evolve in that direction.
Last one, what do you think is the biggest misconception about short-term rentals, and how are you combating those misconceptions?
Short-term rentals are over and there's this big bust and
that's true.
Profitability has compressed. It is true, but it's only true in more of like that commodity product. I think the more you do unique and higher end and you really separate yourself as one of one, like those properties are still performing well.
Be unique. That's the message, right?
Yeah, be unique.
Not all of us have a picturesque luxury glamping site to help stand out from the competition, but that doesn't mean you have to resort to gimmicks or hockey tactics to get your business noticed. If you're looking to instantly separate your business from the pack, then getting a unique URL through .online domains is the simple, effective solution you're looking for. Online is the second largest new domain extension in the world with over 3.4 million registrations globally. And whether your business is a glamping retreat or a party clown named UpFlippy, a .online domain lets you secure the name you actually want, not just the leftovers from other domain extensions like .com. Plus, the word online is part of keywords searched over 500 million times a month. That's a huge boost for SEO right out of the gate. And the best part, .online has partnered with Namecheap, the second largest domain registrar in the world, and made getting your domain incredibly easy and affordable at just 98 cents. With the power of .online and Namecheap behind you, you only need to think about making your business bigger, better, and bolder online. So hit the link in the description and visit namecheap.com/upflip to secure your dream domain today. Oh man, let's take a look at this well-designed space. I gotta tell you, great job to you and your team, man.
Tried to keep it, very minimal, kind of like, earth tones, understated, but just this beautiful shape and circular window peering out into this, looking glass into nature.
For sure. All right, let's talk about the fact that you have 11 units here. I'm curious, how many people are managing all the 11 units? How much full-time staff, and what are they doing here?
Yeah, so on property, we have Iris, who's our on-site manager, and she's our only person on site that's full-time. We have 2.5 about FTE, like full-time equivalent cleaners as well. Once we have 34 units, we'll have 2 full-time staff members on site here. Same thing in Wimberley, GM and a maintenance manager are those 2 positions. And then roughly 1 cleaner for every 5 units or so is typically what we see. And then we have the whole Oasi team, which is largely like the back engine of a lot of what we're doing, right? So we have that whole social media marketing team that's about 8 people. I mean, we have videographers, editors, copywriters, people that do the social media management, influencer kind of managers and recruiters, like this whole team to run that. And we now do it for other unique stays as well.
Yeah, and you're going to continue to grow. So the question that comes up from that is, as you're managing all these people or you're overseeing the whole team, how's that influenced you in terms of finding talent and making sure that the environment within the team is positive and you guys are all succeeding?
It's hard. I was very much in like hustler mentality. It was all like offshore, low-cost labor. I had like 1 US employee, and it kind of all came back to me. I wasn't hiring people that could 5, 10, 100x the business, right? I was just hiring people that could effectively
keep it operational.
Yeah, keep it operational, do the day-to-day, but not achieve growth. Right. And now I'm trying to hire these A players that can really propel the business forward. So one thing that I've found is you have to be patient. Just because you have a need, I'd rather honestly have my team get stretched a little thin and only surround them with A players than to plug a hole with a B or a C player. Another thing I've found too is having a presence on Twitter and LinkedIn and doing podcasts. Like, people know me, they've heard of me, and if they don't, they might see a job and look us up and hear me talk about this stuff. And it's a filter for somebody who shares our vision. That's been huge, and obviously never had that before. I was really trying to add value and do a lot of educational content on social.
All right, well, we've seen enough of this Spyglass unit. I want to check out the Monarch. So how new is this building? Wow, look at this.
So pretty much all about 3 years old.
Okay.
So this one, November 21.
Why call it the Monarch?
I mean, it looks like a modern take on a butterfly, right? It makes it feel like the unit's floating.
I can imagine like them bringing the plans to the planning department and they're just like scratching their heads like, what are you thinking? But in Texas, things must be different, I guess.
Yeah, it's a little Wild Wild West out here for sure. I mean, we try to do things the right way. We're building to international fire code and, we have amazing structural engineers.
On that note, actually, you got into this industry with no experience in construction, no experience in this particular industry as far as the construction side of things. What's your advice to those who are looking to learn about a new industry? What's the best way about it? What do you think?
I think the biggest thing is finding experts in that field, finding people that have done it. So the first firm that we hired was Artistry. They were a treehouse building shop. Like that's what they did. And then as our projects grew, we had to shift into more of a commercial GC that builds hotels and multifamily and that sort of thing. So the general contracting group we have now that also helps us on the development side is really unbelievable. They're called JB Chisholm, and they really help make these projects a reality. We work very collaboratively with them all throughout the process, from the beginning of design phase all the way through construction, to make sure that we're creating things that we can create in budget, that we might be able to value engineer, and making sure that we can have a successful project.
As we get up closer to this building here, there's a story about your site crashing, the booking site crashing, because of a collaborative effort on social media. What is that all about? How do you generate so much organic traffic that it causes your booking site to crash?
Yeah, so it actually happened at our new site, Onera Wimberley, and we're launching a new account, and we worked with that same influencer I told you about, Texas Explorer, that has really high engagement and really high authority in the Texas travel space. So she did one post, it's gonna crack 1 million views. First post, we had no followers, now we have like 16, 17,000 basically overnight. I think it comes down to working with the right creators and influencers, having really highly engaging, amazing content yourself. So photo, video, all the rest. And it also comes down to the products. I mean, you need to have an Instagrammable product like Monarch, like Spyglass, something that like pulls the viewer in and makes them want to experience it.
For sure. You've got a lot of raving fan reviews. What's your advice to providing the ultimate customer service experience, especially in the hospitality space?
Yeah, so we really try to think about it like we're collaborating with our guests and try to make sure we're not being transactional. And we try to create different entry moments along the way of when they arrive, which really helps to enhance the experience for them. So there's one moment when you sort of, come upon the sign and you first enter the site, and then the anticipation builds. You don't want to be too exciting out the gate. You want it to be subtle and nice and elegant. And then when you actually arrive at your unit, that's kind of the wow and the aha moment. And then maybe when you go in your unit and you see the bedroom, you see the big windows, the hot tub off the balcony, that's kind of additional wow moments for the guests. And I think that puts us in a spot of we're kind of playing with house money at that point, right? Like the guest is already so happy and inspired, and because we do couple stays, we're doing a lot of honeymoons and proposals and things like that. So we have guests that are in a very euphoric state, and we just have to do our best to like not get in the way and not mess it up.
All right, well, I'm excited to go see the expansion. 23 more units, right? Let's go see what's happening there and continue the conversation.
Let's do it.
I thought this was like a plane hangar at first.
Kind of feels like
again,
that, right?
We're going for unique, yeah.
It's got to be. It's called the Quonset, and it's actually based off of like a military structure that's been around for many, many years.
Interesting.
But this is going to be, the luxury version with a plunge pool or a hot tub.
Nice.
This very cool, like arched entryway, vault, very high vaulted ceilings because of the shape. And this unit was designed by a new architect we're working with, Adam Gates, and it was actually, he did it on spec.
What does that mean on spec?
For free. As like part of the proposal.
Oh, wow.
I mean, ultimately building out the plans and everything cost money, but like the initial concept was kind of his, hey, I want to work with you guys.
Project.
This is what I can do.
Yeah.
And we hired him.
What's been the most effective way for you to reach new customers, and how did that success lead you to start your own services business, Oasi?
Yeah, so it's been social media pretty much entirely, and that's for guests, right? That's how we're reaching our customers that come and stay with us. And then as we've grown these Instagram accounts and got these very high rates and occupancies at our unique properties, we've shared that with the world under my kind of founder personality and account online on LinkedIn and Twitter. People see our success, and then they've asked us to, hire and help manage their properties.
What is this unit? Looks like a round.
Yeah, so this was a take on a wine vat, actually.
Wine vat, okay.
Yeah, so we're in wine country in Texas, and it actually came from one of the board members at the public REIT that's our big institutional investor. He mentioned like, oh, you should do something wine barrel or wine vat related. So this kind of was inspiration from him, and we love the rounded style units. It just feels really cozy and nice inside with the circular floor plan.
That's cool. So what are the units costing you on a per square foot basis, or is it just from here to here because they're all so different?
Yeah, it varies quite a bit. When you look at it on an all-in per key basis, like everything included, fully loaded, right? Furniture, like all aspects of construction, the land, any sort of dev fee we take, it's anywhere from probably $500,000 to even upwards of like 750 to 800K per unit. But when you look at it on a yield basis, like a profit basis, it's extremely profitable. So the REIT, our institutional investor, we're generating about anywhere from 75 to 100,000 per unit in NOI per key per year.
Wow.
And largely it has to do with our margins. I mean, we're operating at over 50% margins, which is really high for the hotel world.
Usually they're like under 10%, aren't they? Or maybe 15 at best?
15 to 35, like 35 being the very, very high end. And then short-term rentals are typically operating closer to where we are, but with some of the recent market shifts, it's gone down. So yeah, we're still maintaining that 50, even 55% NOI margins. So they're expensive to build, but like,
it makes sense.
When you're doing $500-$600 ADR at occupancies in the mid 80s, I mean, it makes a ton of sense.
What's your revenue look like on the Oasi service side of things, and why do you think it found such immediate success?
Yeah, so year one, it was basically our properties. So we weren't even really offering it to third parties outside of our own. We did about 500 to 550,000 in revenue. This year, it's all been inbound, largely from me speaking at conferences, doing, episodes like this, podcasts, posting on LinkedIn and Twitter, providing a bunch of educational value and just kind of showing what we've been capable of. That's led to all this inbound, and now in the last 3 months, we've signed on 7 new clients that all range from 50 to 20,000 a month. Some even upwards of 30 to 40,000 a month. So we're very soon going to be at 1.2 million a year, and then next year we're on track to be closer to 2 million.
Just as this business started taking off, this one key unlocked. Hey, sorry, are you talking to me? Because we're kind of in the middle of filming.
Are you looking to buy? I got it all. Get rich quick, 7-figure side hustle, everything you need right here.
No thanks.
Come on, can't you use more general business advice?
Nobody wants general outdated business advice you can find in every corner of the internet. I'm part of the UpFlip Academy with real active business owners whose step-by-step guidance and hands-on mentorship help me make the right calls for starting and scaling my business.
Okay, let me just give you one free. Have you ever heard of dropshipping?
Forget these so-called gurus. Hit the link in the description below and join the UpFlip Academy with real active business owners. No strings attached, everything you need to get started for a whopping $0. All right, what's the first step to creating marketing that converts audiences to customers?
Yeah, so first step when it comes to unique stays is creating a product that's highly shareable. Guests can't help themselves but take photos and videos and want to share it with their networks. So they start to become your marketers for you. Now, on the Oasi side of the business, like the services, one of the most shareable things we found is case studies, right? Sharing what we've been able to achieve with other customers and creating that storyline, and then having those customers as raving fans sending you referrals.
As an entrepreneur who's running multiple businesses, what's your advice to others who are having a hard time spinning multiple plates on their hands, right? How are you making that happen?
Yeah, so I would say the big ones for me are my Google Calendar. I make sure everything's in my calendar. Personal stuff, you know, various businesses, it's color coded, and if it's on there, it's gonna get done. Asana is my to-do list, just kind of make sure nothing slips through the cracks. And then a big one is Superhuman, which is the email client that I use. Any automated email goes into one folder, and then all your other emails go into important. So I can go through the auto email section in a matter of minutes. So it helps me get to inbox 0, which just helps ensure I'm not missing anything. And when we're dealing with this many things and like this high of stakes, $14, $20 million construction projects and places that are doing hundreds of thousands of revenue a month, it's important to make sure I don't miss anything.
All right, well, thanks for showing us everything here. Where are we going next to your other project that's not even here?
No, yeah, it's an hour and 15 minutes away or so, also in the hill country. The beautiful thing about that property is the views. I mean, you see these dramatic hill country views for miles. We're overlooking the quaint town of Wimberley, and we have these one-of-a-kind units all along the hillside.
Excited to go see it. Let's do
Let's do it.
Long drive ahead of us.
Yep. So this is our first true event space. So this is a 100-person space. So your mid to smaller sized weddings and same thing for corporate events. We have 28 units on the site, 16 of the greenhouse style, which have a vegetated rooftop deck, and then 12 of the Spyglass, which is the treehouse, similar to what we saw in Fredericksburg.
Gotcha, okay. Let's dive into the fact that when you started these projects, you really didn't have a lot of experience in construction in general. What were some of the early mistakes that you made personally as an entrepreneur getting into this field, into this niche, that you learned a lot from?
Yeah, I think the big one, the overarching theme is, you know, not to skimp moving forward. And I think there's a lot of ways that reared its head in past developments. So like the first project, I took a lower bid and
it's tempting.
It ended up going way over. You know, it wasn't necessarily the right group for building. Thankfully, it was a smaller project, so it didn't sort of torpedo it. We opened to massive success, so we were able to overcome it.
Yeah, it's hard to stand by. What about like material sourcing? Because you got a lot going on here.
For sure. So one of the other learnings from the Onera Fredericksburg project, we tried to source a number of things from China, and it was penny wise, pound foolish. We didn't have the right quality control on the ground there, and it was COVID. So like there was that Suez Canal debacle that went on, so we had delays for months. And then when the material actually did arrive, a lot of the parts were wrong, there was no clear instructions, and we ended up having to do a lot of retrofitting. So we ended up probably spending more money and were delayed than if we were just to source locally with better quality.
Other than land and construction, what else is the most expensive purchase for the Onera property?
It's got to be structural steel. It's not cheap at all, especially like when we're trying to do these cantilevers and we have these hot tubs that are over 1,000 pounds kind of hanging off the edge of the deck. It gets pretty pricey. And you'll see the Spyglass units at Onera Wimberley, there's a big drop off, and that structural steel alone is probably 100 grand per unit.
No way.
Yeah.
So every business has stressful moments, stressful times. What's the difference between Onera, Oasi, as far as, you know, the service-based business that you have? How do you handle stressful situations? Can you speak to that?
Yeah, for sure. Onera requires development, which is usually a pretty lengthy process, involves a lot of moving parts, a lot of changes, a lot of challenges that come up. So I think development in and of itself is pretty challenging, and you need to have a really good GC, a good architect, good engineers, and thankfully we have that team now. But I think that the way to try to mitigate that stress is like pretty much everything is fixable, right? With time and or money.
True.
So it's like even if something goes wrong, we can figure out a way to get through it as long as we have
personal.
a healthy enough budget, if we have some contingency, all of that.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
I think it's time to go check out the greenhouse with the green roofs. That's a very unique feature here. So let's go do that.
Let's do it.
All right, so this is the greenhouse, right? How many square feet are we talking living space?
Each one of these is about 315, 320 square feet. We chose these unit types for some very specific reasons. The greenhouses are a little more exposed, a little more open. There's not as much tree cover. That's why we added the vegetated rooftops with the native grasses and wildflowers and such, so they blend into the hillside. We chose the Spyglass because they're long and narrow and really are elevated. They showcase the amazing view from the high point of the property up there. Perfect. And we found that the hard-sided units performed a bit better. They were a bit more expensive as well, but they had way less operational headaches.
Ooh, it's always good to get away from the Texas heat. In terms of taking risks and scaling, what gives you the confidence you're making the right calls? I mean, you're sitting on some very large development, you guys. We're talking millions and millions and millions of dollars.
Yeah, happy to. I mean, look, we're kind of betting on this area in the sense that there's a lot of people moving to Texas, a lot of disposable income, and not that many unique, cool, experiential things to do as of yet.
Not yet,
and certainly not on the higher end of things. And we also saw from, looking at comps, these treehouse style units, these units with amazing views like we have in Wimberley, were doing extraordinarily well. So we had a lot of confidence in that. And at the end of the day, we're not talking hundreds of units. And this property, I actually found this property before we even opened Fredericksburg, but I wanted to build in Wimberley even before Fredericksburg. I just couldn't find the land.
Okay.
So when this property came online, I saw the views. I was like, I may not see this again for years. So we got it under contract, and it was 2 tracts of land. So the tract that I first got under contract was where Spyglass is. But then over time, made good friends with the owners that lived on this parcel, and they ended up deciding to sell to us as well, and we decided to go with a bigger development, and we closed on that property around the time that Fredericksburg opened.
That's pretty cool. I mean, what gives you the confidence clearly is the success of the work you're putting in. You know what I mean? If you're doing what you're doing and the results are not there, then I don't see you expanding.
Even when we bought the land here, if Fredericksburg hadn't worked out, even though we had a lot of conviction that it would, we could have always sold this property. Welcome to the Spyglass unit.
He's the boss. Yeah, this is quite different and more spacious than the other one that we stayed at. It's beautiful. I mean, the view is just...
Yeah, we added some square footage to the front. So you have a nice little dining area, you have your lounge area, king beds, and then a generous back deck, a hot tub. It's really nice.
Really cool. As part of your journey, Ben, what do you think has been the most surprising factor to unlocking your winning mindset? Because clearly you have that. We've spent almost a day together, and I see that coming through in every answer you've provided. So
yeah, I would say not being afraid to fail, having a sense of urgency is a big one.
Yeah.
I believe in this idea of compounding returns. You build momentum, and it's the early steps that you take and that early push that you take that leads to all the success down the line. So that's 2, and then 3, kind of along those lines is perseverance, right? Talk to 20 banks, 30 banks, however many it is, just keep going until you find the one that's going to believe. So
I'm really curious, Ben, where all this inspiration's coming from. I know you talked earlier about taking a road trip for your honeymoon, but this is new stuff, right? Building subterranean hotels. Are you constantly learning, researching as an entrepreneur? What can we learn from that?
So yes, we are always learning, and we're really just always trying to wow our guests. Kind of push the limits of what they think is possible, and you'll see some of that on the expansion over here. Same thing with the subterranean hotel or spa. It's really pushing our imagination to when somebody comes on site, when they see a unit or when they see it on Instagram, they just say, wow, and they're kind of stopped in their tracks. That's what we want, right? And I'm also a student of the game, right? We do a lot on social media, and we create very engaging videos that we actually produce in-house. But I look at other properties too, and then we try to take it to the next level.
Gotcha. So there's nothing new under the sun, right? It's kind of rip off and duplicate a little bit from what others are doing. They've proven their success, and we're just kind of replicating it here in Texas, essentially, right? And that's okay to do.
Yeah, and some of it's totally fresh and new. Like our Monarch treehouse, that was totally new and outside the box. I've never seen anything like it before.
Wow.
I think there's also a beauty and inspiration that comes from the land itself. Like the property will help you kind of dictate what you're supposed to do.
Let's talk about step 2 in creating marketing that converts audiences to customers, and that is storytelling, right? So talk to us about why that's so important, what that means to you, and why it's so essential as well.
So it really is all about storytelling. And I think one thing you'll notice with a lot of the bigger brands out there, or bigger hotels, their Instagram page, for example, like feels like an ad. And we don't want people to feel like it's an ad because we all pay a lot of money these days to avoid ads. People hate ads, right? So
unsubscribe.
Yeah, just showing like the big hero shot, slow pan, it doesn't really hook you. So we want to create a story with every reel and every post. And you do still need a hero shot to hook them in, but as soon as they get hooked in, then you want to take them on a journey, right? Maybe across this elevated walkway, maybe up the spiral staircase of Monarch. There needs to be some sort of intention and perceived obstacle, right? And then the resolution is overcoming that obstacle. So now we're bringing on clients, and how fast we're growing those accounts is pretty remarkable. We brought on this one client called El Calo Resort, safari tents in Bryson City, North Carolina by the Smokies. We brought them from literally like 14 followers to 30,000 in 90 days.
Wow.
And, you know, 70,000 or so in direct bookings in that period. So just kind of blew up overnight. And it all came down to what I was describing with storytelling, right? Keeping the audience engaged and hooked. There's also an element of calling out your audience up front and center. So we say a lot, couples romantic getaways, and then Wimberley, Texas, or, you know, Bryson City, North Carolina. So when somebody sees it on Instagram, they know where it is. And so they're like, oh, this actually applies to me. Oh, I should send this to my partner. And it immediately hooks them in, but you're really showcasing the property or the stay more than you are that person. And having that person in the shot just allows the viewer to be able to say, oh, I could see myself doing that or in that spot.
Okay, how much are you actually spending for this location on IG ads?
So we've spent next to nothing on IG ads. This has all almost been organic social. For some of these newer accounts that we're taking on, that we're trying to accelerate very quickly, we are using a lot of Instagram boost, more so than actual ads. So we'll find a piece of content that works, and once we know it works, it's gone viral or gotten a lot of engagement, we can put IG boost dollars behind it and push it that much further. I think where people get wrong is they spend on ads or boost on posts that are not well done. They're not well produced. They're not engaging. And so you're just kind of throwing money in the wind, right? Because it might push the reach, but there's not going to be a lot of likes or shares or follows or any sort of conversion that you get from it.
As the number of luxury and short-term properties continues to increase, right, especially in this market and really throughout the nation, how are you continuing to distinguish yourself and stay competitive in this industry?
So we're just leaning all in on unique, right? I mean, unique stays is kind of how I talk about the space more broadly. Experiential stays, some people may call it as well. And we're always trying to push the limit. So if something is, you know, prefab manufactured, like even these mirror homes I like, I'm now worried they're going to become commoditized, right? Because all these different people can access them and buy them so easily. So we want to keep doing things that are unique, finding very unique properties with views, with caves and water features and things that are very differentiated, and then create custom units that like really speak to that land and accentuate it. So that's one side of things. In future developments, we also want to make them a little more amenitized than Onera has been. So bring in some F&B concepts, some spa concepts, bigger event space, catering more to group travel. Right now, we've been so laser focused on couples. Onera Wimberley, our second site, does have a 100-person event space, so that's like a step in that direction.
Excited to
and
see
it is
that.
28 units, so can host more corporate events and weddings and things like that. And we think that our types of properties, as long as we program them for groups, can be perfect for that.
What in the world we're looking at here?
Yeah, so I think this is my most exciting unit to date. It's called Monolith, designed by Adam Gates, our new architect, and I just think he knocked it out of the park with this one. So is a monolithic piece of steel, like very beefy metal, off the backside there that is supporting this entire structure. About 25, 30 feet of cantilever with a 1-ton hot tub on the end when it's filled with water. So you're supporting quite a bit of weight, but to achieve this floating look, nothing below it, you know how I hate the box on stilts look. So this is the complete other direction, right? It's so clean, it's so minimal. And the whole entire top is basically gonna be wrapped with windows.
Wow.
You get a lot of privacy with these trees, which really helps, and we'll have like a blinds or curtain system, but if you want, you can be fully nature immersive.
Butt naked, walking around in your Airbnb, surrounded by nothing but nature. All right, so obviously you've put in a lot of work, and we could see the results of that hard work, and that's great. However, you continue to expand. How do you deal with those pesky feelings of self-doubt?
Yeah, I think it's never heightened as much as when we're like first opening a new property. Even those like first few days the booking engine is live, and maybe bookings aren't flowing in as quickly as you would hope within like a matter of a couple days.
Makes you start itching.
Yeah, but it's control what we can control, right? Like continue to believe in the process and really surrounding myself with problem solvers that are A players and, you know, really smart and capable, because, you know, their passion, their enthusiasm, and their like ability to solve problems is going to help carry us through. So if I'm having a down day, you know, I believe that one of them will kind of help pick me and help poke the business up.
Help each other up.
Yeah.
Awesome. We've talked about step 1 and 2 to creating marketing that brought you millions. So give us a quick recap on step 1 and 2. Tell us about 3 and 4, and anything else you want to add to these very important steps to see success in your business.
Yeah, happy to. So 1 is shareability. You need a product that's highly shareable, that your customers want to post it on social media and effectively be your marketers. Number 2, you really need to lean into storytelling with your content. You don't want your content to feel like an ad, and really like have it engaging all the way through instead of just posting slow pan hero shots throughout, which just kind of feel like one big advertisement. Third one is going to be what we call NPCs, non-primary character. So we like to have models in our shots in the content that we post on social media, but the model is not a primary character of the shot. It's not about them, it's about the space, it's about the experience. And you might just see, you know, a woman with her back turned, feet in the hot tub, or walking along a trail, or something that's like subtle and allows the user to envision themselves experiencing the space.
Okay.
Number 4 is using the right influencers and creators to help promote your product. We're looking for both high engagement and high authority in the space that we're in. So in this case, it's travel, and then, you know, likes and comments, like high engagement for that influencer on their posts. And number 5 is...
Oh, there's a 5th one, all right.
Yes, there's a bonus, number 5.
I like that.
And we've only recently started experimenting with this and seeing a lot of success. If you have a piece of content that really works, you can put ad dollars behind it to push it further. You can repurpose it into an ad, right? A meta ad, Facebook, Instagram. So your cost of advertising is going to go down and it's going to be much more efficient. So that's something we've recently started experimenting with and seeing a lot of success.
Awesome. If you could recommend 1 to 3 books that every entrepreneur should read, what would they be and why?
Yeah, so I think the most influential book for me was How to Win Friends and Influence People. You know, Dale Carnegie, when I was a kid, my dad gave me that one. I think it's been the most effective for me to like help build teams, you know, manage people, grow relationships. Outside of that, I mean, I'm really a big podcast person, I would say. So I try to listen to other people in my space, and I'm friends with a lot of them now. Like Behind the Stays, Zach Buzakru's like interviews all these other founders in the unique stays and unique STR world. Good Morning Hospitality, you know, Michael Golden and Wolff Slickers are 2 good buddies of mine, and they run that podcast and talk about short-term rentals, and, you know, they have one that talks about hotels. So just trying to stay up to date on the industry and how things are changing.
Awesome. But more podcasts for sure than just books at this point.
For sure.
Cool. Besides the obvious revenue as one of the KPIs for measuring success, what other factors do you look at and then say, you know what, we've been successful, or hey, we're continuing to become more leaner, etc. And what do you think is mostly overlooked by a lot of entrepreneurs as well? Yeah,
so margins, right? NOI margin at Onera properties is typically in the 50s, right? Low 50s to mid 50s, which is very high for hospitality. So that's a great metric that we're kind of hitting our goals. NOI per key, which I mentioned, which is, you know, the income per unit at a property. We're trying to hit this, you know, 80 to 100,000 per key per unit. So those are some key metrics. Another one that I think is really important, I mean, you know, this being in real estate, is cap rate. So I think about the cap rate that we're building to, which is effectively the return on cost, right? So our return on cost is typically anywhere from 15 to 20%.
That's really good.
Which is really high. Onera Fredericksburg was a 19% return on cost for us.
Good.
So
how are you achieving those cap rates though? I mean, that's...
I think it's a differentiated product, right? It's highly unique, and as we've talked about, like, it's not cheap to build,
right?
But the rate, the occupancy, like the revenue that we're driving, it makes it work. And then we have an efficient operating model, right? We have high margins. So we invest heavily in CapEx, like the design and uniqueness and structural steel and all of it, the hot tubs. But once we've made that singular investment, we're operating at really high margins and really high rates. So it helps us achieve those high cap rates.
All right, if there's one piece of advice you'd love to leave our viewer with, what would it be?
Yeah, I think it's twofold. One is that don't be afraid to fail. right? And failure is going to create learnings, and look at all failures as learning opportunities, and you need to be very perseverant and fail and then try again when you're an entrepreneur. And the other piece is to act with a sense of urgency. I think that's one thing that separates successful entrepreneurs from other, because to get from 0 to 1, you need to be pushing so hard and so fast to get it there. Otherwise things kind of stall out, you lose momentum. So I think acting with this sense of urgency is something that's like underrated in an entrepreneur.
For somebody who wants to get into the short-term rental business with a limited budget, where do we start? What's your advice?
Yeah, so I always tell people, if you have a limited budget, instead of trying to do a ton of units that are maybe mid-tier or lower tier, do a smaller number of really outrageous, amazing, noteworthy stays.
Like this one.
Yeah, and that could be one, right? It could be one. Just go all out on one. And you'll see that with like a Devin Lurup, who did Pacific Bin, kind of not too far from where you guys, I think, are in Washington, where he did a container home style stay that's just kind of out of this world.
I'll have to check him out.
And in addition to that stay, he documented the whole process. So that's another thing you can do on a limited budget. Document your process, create content. It can be relatively low production, and you can build a fan base and a following before you even open, and open up opportunities for
Very clever.
investors, selling educational materials, plans, things like that can help potentially fund bigger and better development later.
Want to make it big in the hospitality world? Then you cannot miss episode 156 with Sid and Eva, who built a $3 million a year Airbnb business while working their full-time jobs. Take a second to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.